So, guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. We know we're backing up for a second night in a row, but we are so blessed to have Kristine Drummond on the call tonight. Just, I'm going to leave Kristine to tell her story and give a little bit of background, but this woman came onto the scene half a dozen years ago and has just been an amazing breath of fresh air to our community. I love the fact she gets down on the ground and what's that thing called? Yeah, I don't know how you do it with boobs, but anyway, she's never been one to hold back, and I think that that's one of the most enduring qualities about Kristine is she's a friend to all of us, and she's been an absolute go-getter in our community, and she's given so much to us, and we're so grateful to have you on the call. I want to also acknowledge everybody who has come on the call. I know we've got people here from Southeast Asia, we've got people here from New Zealand, we've got people here from the East Coast as well as Perth. So thank you everyone for coming on the call tonight. So Kristine, I'm going to pin you, and I'm going to ask you just to start by telling us a little bit about when you first looked at this business, who introduced you, how did they first ask you to look at this business, and what really resonated with you when you first looked at it?
Awesome. Thank you. And hello to all my juicy friends, my sideline buddies on the call tonight. Thank you so much for having me. So when Juice Plus was introduced to me, I just had my first baby. Summer was 4 months old, and I was one of those zombie mums. Put your hand up if you've been a zombie mum before. Yeah, we've all been there. Sleepless nights, and oh my goodness, you just don't feel human. And it was Fee Taylor that actually reached out to me and said, Kristine, I think you need to have a look at this stuff. It's all natural. You can still breastfeed with it. And, you know, I was a personal trainer at the time, and I thought I was doing an okay job, but I was recommending my clients to go and drink Up and Goes. Like, that's the kind of knowledge that I had. And I feel terrible about that now. But I went and did my own research, and that's all Fee said. Like, it was less than 30 seconds. And I jumped on the internet that afternoon and I researched it, and I liked that it was all natural. Like, that really spoke to me. And I just emailed the company and said, I'd love some more information about this. And then they sent Linda Evening to me, and next day or so, I'm sitting down with Linda Evening having a juice at a smoothie bar here. And she knew I was a personal trainer, and we really clicked. And she was like, oh, you know, we'd love you in the business and blah, blah, blah. And I just said, you know what? I'm a personal trainer. I get this shit across my desk all the time. I'm not going to put my name to anything that I don't believe in. I'm usually a guinea pig. I try a lot of stuff for my clients. And if I love it, I'll recommend it. And to be honest, in the 5 years I was a personal trainer, I never recommended anything until Juice Plus came along. And it was the only thing that I tried that my body agreed with, that I could go, yeah, this is what people need. I saw the food diaries piling in every week, and people were just not getting enough fruits and veggies. They were just so carb loaded with processed foods, and I knew that I was going to be able to help. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it, actually, because I've still got quite a few of my clients still on the product today, and I love that. And yeah, so Linda just she said to me, okay, cool, I'll just treat you as a normal customer then. And I never heard from her for like the next couple of weeks. Anyway, then I reached back out to her, and I'm like, okay, within 2 weeks I felt flipping amazing. It took away the brain fog, my energy was back, and I was freaking out a little bit because I could afford to pay the first payment for my products, but then I was like, I don't know where I'm going to get the money to pay for the second, third, and fourth payment. And I had to actually go, babe, can you lend me the money for this stuff that I'm going to try? And yeah, Tom is really great. He did that. But to be honest, in my first 2 weeks, I brought on 20 customers. I did 2 live events. I did one at a cafe after a boot camp, and I did another one at the boot camp that I was running. And about 80% of my clients started over time to get on board. And yeah, from there, it just kind of grew. But, you know, people don't realize, I suppose, why I'm so passionate about health. And I want to take you a little bit back to why I am, because I think you've got to connect with that, guys. And, you know, for me, like 10 years ago when I was going through IVF with an ex-husband, you know, we tried for 7 years to have kids, and then we went down the IVF road. And not once did one person, a friend, a family, or a doctor say to me, Kristine, what are you putting in your body? What lifestyle factors, are making an impact? What stresses do you have? Like, I was in a job where I was on call 24/7 to the Dragon Lady. Like, it was crazy, no one spoke about that. But here's the real thing. Like, at the same time I was going through IVF, my mum was going through breast cancer, and it was a really aggressive breast cancer. And because of the IVF, I was in Adelaide. They wouldn't let me travel to Wagga to be with my mum during the hardest time in her life. And it's making me emotional thinking about it, because I felt terrible, and not one person spoke to my mum either about nutrition. Not one doctor, nobody said to Wendy, what are you putting in your body? What are the lifestyle factors that are affecting you? What stresses do you have? So we were both going through different health crises, I suppose, but not one person was reaching out to say, hey, you've got to start taking care of yourself. So looking back, I was kind of like that. To me, I just can't fathom that today. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate, and I feel like it's a responsibility for me to reach out to people and just say, hey, how are you? Like, are you okay? Like, how's your health these days? Like, what's going on? Because here's the truth. What I found in this business is everyone has their own health crisis going on. Like, everyone has some sort of health condition, and it might not even be like a condition. It might be just they want more energy, or they want the brain fog to clear, or whatever it is. So I really encourage you to get out of your head and get back into that heart space. And I just had a training call before, and I said, when you put your hand on your heart before you send a text message, or when you're on a call to somebody, it gets you out of here and it gets you into that heart space, and it makes it about that person. It takes the focus away from you. And when you can do that, when you can connect with someone, it just takes the relationship and that conversation to a whole new level. And I really encourage you to do that, because it makes you feel differently about what's coming out of your mouth, or the way that you're messaging. You don't feel salesy. You're just like, I'm connecting with you as a friend because I care about you. Like, no one gave a stuff about me 10 years ago when I was going through all this stuff. And, even when I went through my divorce breakup, I was living on 2-minute noodles and mashed potato sandwiches. And people look at me today and they go, oh my goodness, I can't believe Drummond would do that. But that was what I was going through at the time. I couldn't even afford to feed myself fruits and vegetables. It was really scary. And eventually my body just shut down. And again, no one reached out and said, Drummond, what are you doing? You need to get something nutritious in your body. So now I feel like it's my job, my responsibility to go to people and go, hey, no one reached out to me when I needed it. I feel like I need to reach out. And I've actually put that in my message to people, and the responses that I get from people is amazing. They don't have people in their everyday life having conversations like we get to. So I don't even know what the question was. Am I on track?
No, this is great. That's why I just let you go. Can I just draw everybody's attention to a couple of things in this story. Number one, it's a brilliant story, guys. And I think we heard that last night. The power is in the story. So, Kristine has an amazing story and she's sharing it. I think something else is that you are really connected to the product message and the community message from that perspective. And I love how you have built your business from that perspective. And I just want to draw everyone's attention to making that important decision. Is your story predominantly product? Is your story predominantly business? But be attached to that and then get into that passionately. Because if you're not into one or the other passionately, the message is certainly going to be mixed. So, it's quite clear that you have been a raving fan since the outset. And wouldn't we all love to have raving fans like you who actually go back to their sponsor as opposed to the sponsor chasing you, which I think is really key. Kristine, we all know that success leaves clues. And I think you have been one of those people that really embodies looking at where the success is and then being the shadow. One of your first connections, as you pointed out, is Linda. And you obviously made the decision that the business is what you're going to pursue. And I'd love you just to talk to why you decided to do that. But also, I remember coming over to Brisbane in 2012 and you were just attached to her. So can you talk to why that was so important?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember Linda saying to me about 2 months into the business, you've got to come to the USA conference, you know. And I was like, Summer was 4, 5, 6 months old, and she's asking me to go away for 10 days, leave my baby behind, and just come to this crazy conference. Like, it was just, but I trusted her enough to go, you know what? And Tom had to fund it, of course, because I was broke. And and I went over there, and I remember where we were sitting. It was my first international conference. I've never been overseas. And we sat next to the hearing impaired people. And there was about 20 hearing impaired people in there. And I remember sitting next to them, and I'm like, wow, if these people can rock this business, then I can rock this business. And their next walk in the stage was NMD after NMD after NMD. Like, I'm talking women who have fled countries with just the clothes on their back who have hit NMD. I'm talking about women who have 10 kids and they've homeschooled all 10 kids and they've hit NMD. And I caught the vision, and I'm still getting goosebumps about it, because I remember getting on that plane so excited, going, I will be an NMD. That will be me on that stage. And I had no flipping idea. I was like 2 or 3 months into the business. I had no idea how I was going to get there. So what I did was I latched onto Linda, because she was not doing the business. So I was like, okay, like, I'm going to follow this crazy woman with this vision. And I became a student. And if Linda was putting on a training, I was rocking up. If she was putting on an event, I was rocking up. I was no excuses. If Summer was on my hip and she had to come, she came. If I had to put baby sleep patterns out of whack to get to an event, I did. Like, I was the no excuses girl. And it was just like, I just wanted to lap up the culture and be close to the fire. And I remember I jumped on every single one of Cheryl Cortese's calls every Tuesday. I listened to the doctors, I listened to the scientists, I listened to the other NMDs. My car became my university. You know, and Summer still talks about it to this day, how, remember those people we always used to have to listen to rather than music, Mum? She prefers music these days. But all these people would just be constantly in my ear. When I was cooking dinner, I'd have the headphones in. When I was falling asleep at night, I felt like I was sleeping with Jeff Roberti, because he'd be in my head while I was going to sleep. And when I was out for a jog, like, I was constantly feeding my subconscious mind and fueling it for, you know, what I wanted to go and teach. So everything I talk about in regards to nutrition, I've learnt from this business, you know. And even you, Tamara, like the videos and the DVDs, like your DVD was one of the first ones that I ever listened to. And, you know, Forks versus Knives and all these other great documentaries and things that are out there. So I think, like, we always ask people for 3 things in this business, and it's to have that hunger, that desire. And I have to be honest, like, sometimes we see so much potential in people and we go, oh my goodness, this person's going to be amazing. We see so much potential in them. But if they don't have the hunger, that potential is useless, you know. So you've got to have that desire. You've got to have that, the willingness to do the activities. Like, we're giving you the skeletal system. We're giving you what works, the system that works. You guys are getting your egos in the way, trying to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to. We've made the mistakes, and we've made some big mistakes, let me tell you. And then the third thing is be teachable. And that, I remember Linda telling me those 3 things, and she said, you can't be successful with just one of them. You have to have all 3. You can't be teachable but then not have the willingness to do the activities and have the hunger. You have to have all 3. And if you don't have the hunger right now, that burning desire, if you don't know why you're doing this business, you better go and bloody find it. Because for me, it all came back to, I couldn't find my why. Like, Tom was supporting me. He was FIFO. He was earning the money. He's like, babe, you don't ever have to work. It's okay. And I'm like, no, I need to work. I need to do something. And it wasn't until I went to Summer's Special Persons Day when she was 2, and I saw kids in that playground bawling their eyes out because everyone else had their mums and dads there, and those little kids didn't have their mums and dads. And I still remember their little faces peering through the fence, looking, hoping that that next person that walked through that gate was their mum or dad. And it broke my heart. I still get emotional about it because I had to play with those kids. I had to take them under my wing that day. And I remember pulling Summer aside And I made her a promise. And I looked her in the eye and I said, that will never be you. You will never, ever feel lonely. Mum and dad will always be here. And I've never broken that promise. And it's because of this business that I've never broken that promise. And we get to choose our hard in this life. We really do. And you know what's hard? This business is hard, but you know what's harder? Me going to work on someone else's dreams and missing out on that little girl, or that little boy that's in there asleep right now. And that's hard. Like, I don't want anyone else seeing his first steps, his first words, you know. I don't want anyone else raising and putting their values on my kids, you know. So this is so important, guys. You have to find, what is that thing? What is that thing? What is that stake in the ground that in 10 years' time you can look your kids in the eye and say, you know what? We've got everything that we need because mum didn't give up or dad didn't give up. You know, we've got the lifestyle that we want because we went for it, you know. And I had, in the beginning, I had all the negative people. I had people telling me I was crazy. I had one of my best friends ring me and say, Drummo, what are you doing? You are crazy. You are part of a scam. And you know what? I said to her, Macca, thank you. You are the only friend that's picked up the phone and, you know, reached out to me. And all I could see was love. All I could see was this chick cared enough about me. She didn't want to see me get hurt. And I said, you know what, Macca, you haven't seen what I've seen. You have not seen what these products do for people, but I take it on board. I respect you. And guess what? We're still best friends, but I never, ever mention Juice Plus in front of her. I know my boundaries. You will get to know the people you can talk to about Juice Plus. You will get to know the people you can't. And usually it's your best friends and some of your family. And who cares? We can't save everybody. So I guess, yeah, what I'm trying to say is really find your stake, find your why, find that thing that lights you up and gets that fire burning bright in your belly. Because every no that I got, every rejection, every person that told me I was crazy, in the back of my head while they're saying it to me, I'm like, you're not going to stop me from being there for my daughter. You can go and, you know, put your dreams on a shelf. You can go and sell yourself to a wage. That's not me. I'm stepping away from mediocrity. I know that I was put on this planet to do more. So if you've got that in the back of your mind, guys, as long as you don't give up, you can achieve whatever success you want. And this is the thing. Success to me will look different to what success looks like for you. So, like, don't push your success onto other people as well, because some people, they just want to earn a couple of extra $100 a month, and that's success to them. But for the rest of us, we're hungry. We want to go all the way. We want to see what, you know, if we can blow the roof off this thing. So, yeah, have I digressed again?
Oh, but beautifully digressed. Now, I want to just hang off the back of something you said before, which is, you know, making sure that you're constantly talking to yourself in the back of your mind when you're faced with, you know, those rejections, if you like. I want you to talk to the concept of handling objections and or rejection, because I think that's one of the biggest blocks that people have about stepping out of their comfort zone, because of that fear of somebody rejecting them, that fear of somebody saying, yeah, but, or having some sort of reason or hesitation. How do you, because you know, Kristine, you couldn't have gotten to 100 Club NMD without having a few. So what are the sorts of techniques that you utilize for that, handling objections and rejection?
I've never had an objection in my life. We all get them, right? We get those annoying people that go, oh, it's too expensive, or I don't have the time, or oh my goodness, like objections. But you know what? Your greatest tool, and something that will break down every single objection that comes in your face, is feel, felt, found. You know, if someone says to me, oh, it's one of those pyramid schemes, I know how you feel. I felt the same way. But here's what I found. Since doing the business, I was trapped in a pyramid scheme when I was in my corporate job. That CEO, he was at the top of the company making all the money, and I felt like a little lemming down the bottom, and I was on call 24/7. That's a pyramid. You know, oh, the price, it's so expensive. Oh, I know exactly how you feel. When I came in, I could only afford the first payment. I thought, how am I going to afford the other two, three, 4 payments, you know? So go back to feel, felt, found. And I've actually got a document that I want to share. So I'm going to share my screen. I hope that's okay. Hopefully we're not going over time. You didn't give me a time frame, so bad luck. So I've got this document called Handling Objections, and I'm happy to hand this on. But We all get the price objections. And when someone says they can't afford it, it simply means it's not a big enough priority for them. They need more information. They can't see the value in it. So don't buy into people's excuses, guys, okay? Because it just means I need more information. Because let's face it, if that person had cancer, they'd be pulling out all stops to get rid of that cancer, wouldn't they? They'd find the resources, they'd find the money to stop it. So people can afford it. It's just, are they making it a big enough priority? So the best question you can ask someone is, if we can find a way to make this affordable, is it something that you would love to do? And then, you know, if they ask what would it cost, you say, well, what's your budget? What could you afford? Is it $20 a week? Is it $30 a week? $40 a week? And then you can base the packages around what they give you, okay? You know, then you can drop to the fruit and veg as well. And the CHS, 2 for 1, like that's incredible value. 2 people on Juice Plus every single day for like $2.25 or whatever it is. That's amazing. I really challenge people as well. I say you can't even walk into a supermarket and get 17 fruits and veggies for $2.25 a day. It's amazing. The other objection that we get quite a lot is the pyramid objections. Is that one of those pyramid schemes? And I, like, a lot of us go straight into the negative. We go straight into the defensive. You don't have to, guys, because sometimes when they ask, is that one of those pyramid things? Is that one of those network marketing things? It's because they've been involved before, and sometimes they could be looking for another one. So you've got to look at the positive. Maybe they're asking because they're looking for one to get back into. So what do you mean by that? What's your experience? And they might say something like, oh, we're the people at the top make all the money. Well, I don't know about that, but it doesn't sound like our company. You know, we're a referral-based business where everyone has equal opportunity and you are rewarded for the effort you put in. Okay, so you can break it down like that as well. Or you could take it to, oh, great question. When anyone asks me a question, I'm like, great question, because that's what Linda's taught us. I know how you feel. I felt the same way. I thought, oh, no, not another scam. But here's what I found. This company is all about inspiring healthy living, and they offer incredible support and encouragement for everyone. I've never been part of a more inspiring and empowering company in all my life. I love it. You know, how's that going to make that person feel when they've come to you with this big, almighty, scammy objection? Research objections are always a funny one. I'm sure Tamara gets these a bit. If they ask anything about the research and how it's done, I usually just go, look, I'm no expert, but I'm going to get you those answers from the experts so you can make an informed decision. So don't feel like you have to be the expert, guys. Go and find it out. The other one is time objections. When you ask someone to be part of your business, oh, I don't have enough time. I'm too busy to do what you do. Why do you say that? How much time do you think it's going to take to do a business like this? Like a lot of them, like for me, I do this full time. But to be honest, I could probably get my stuff done in an hour and a half a day, you know? So, you know, ask them, why do you say that? How much time do you think it takes to, you know, do a business like this? And if I could show you a way to do this business in your stolen moments around your other commitments, would it be something you would still love to do? Like 15-minute snippets throughout the day can get someone a long way in this business. And again, the feel, felt, found. I know how you feel. I felt the same way. I thought, how can I juggle one more thing right now? But here's what I found. I can do this business part-time in stolen moments around my kids, work, hubby, and social life. I literally build it in 15-minute stolen moments each day. If I could show you a way to build your business and raise your babies, would you still be excited to create that extra income or that extra flexibility you're looking for? And this is a favorite of mine. Oh, I already eat enough fruits and veggies. How many times do we hear that? Oh, I don't need this. I already eat enough fruits and veggies. And I always say, oh, that's awesome. Do you mind how I like share with me how you actually manage to get 30 fruits and veggies in every day? Because I'm always looking for new ways to educate my customers. Like, get them. Oh, and then they'll be like, because they don't. Then you can use feel, felt, found. So I know how you feel. I felt the same way. But here's what I found. Even when I was doing a good job and getting heaps of fruits and veggies in, it wasn't vine ripened. It wasn't chemical free. And I found the quality of the fruits and veggies I was buying was really low. It wasn't lasting. What I love about Juice Plus is that it gives me that rainbow and color and that variety every single day for less than a cup of coffee. I mean, can you imagine going to a juice bar and asking for 30 fruits and veggies in your juice? It will cost you a fortune. And I just found it really convenient and a great way to boost our family's health naturally. I'm already taking supplements and objections. That was probably some of you before you got on Juice Plus. You know, you would have had this bucket of supplements you were taking. I already take a bunch of stuff that my naturopath has prescribed. Oh, yeah, and did you have to give your left and right arm for that stuff? Absolutely. So I usually say to those people, you know what, I get this a lot, but are you happy? Like, are you noticing a difference? If you don't mind me asking, how much is that? Like, I'm doing some mini documentaries at the moment, and one of the things was to go into a naturopath and get everything measured, and then he put me on all this stuff. I came out $650 lighter, guys. And I'm like, oh my goodness, is this what people are doing? So then you go into, like, the thing that I hated most was when I was taking a heap of stuff and I was opening a lot of jars and having to take all these pills 2 to 3 times a day. I was spending big bucks. But if it's working for you, that's great. I'm not here to tell you Juice Plus is going to do more than that. Okay, so Feel Felt Found is amazing. Can you make money? Objections. Can you actually make money from this thing? You know what? Most people come into this business to make an extra couple of $100 a month. We can help make that happen in their first month. If I could show you a way to do that, would you be excited to know how? So, guys, these are just like Feel Felt Found. Honestly, will eliminate every objection. Oh, I know how you feel. I felt the same way, but this is what I found. And then share your experience. You know, Feel Felt Found. It's one of the most incredible tools you can have.
Yep, and that's probably one of the first tools that Bronnie and I would have learnt 15 years ago.
It's still in fashion.
It hasn't changed, has it? Nothing's changed there. Do you know the other beautiful thing? And I'm just going to use my medical analogy here. In medicine, we sit across the table from our patients, but research has actually shown us if we sit to the side of a table or on the same side of a table, we actually develop a greater relationship with our patients. What you've just explained by using Feel Felt Found is actually the same way that you do that. You get on the same side of the table as your prospect or your client. And so by doing that, you immediately create a greater rapport. So whatever your answer is, you've already gone halfway there just in the way that you posture yourself. Brilliant. Drummo, brilliant. Yes, I'm going to keep going because I've got the time. I hope you do. You are the supreme mummy juggler. You've got a brand. Well, he's not that brand new anymore. He's about a year old now, isn't he?
Year and a half, yeah.
Oh my gosh, where did that time go? But you're a mum to 2 for a long time there. Tom was FIFO, so you were doing single parenting. What are the key principles to your daily method of operation? Just so these guys get a bit of an idea on how you did it and got to 100 Club.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tom's gone back to FIFO, so he works away 3 weeks now, which is the worst roster we've had. 3 weeks away. He gets just under 3 weeks home, 2.5 weeks home. He works over your side of the woods. He's about 2 hours helicopter flight off Broome, so in the middle of the ocean on one of these crazy rigs. This business allowed me to retire him, but in the process he lost himself, and I kind of what do you call it, he lost his manhood, and I feel kind of bad about that. Not but he wanted to be a house husband. It was his suggestion, like, I'll come home and then he found it all too hard. But it gave him the choice to flick like Tinder through the jobs that were coming through until his dream job came up, which was this oil rig. He's always wanted to work on one. So it is. I'm a single mum, and I've always been a single mum every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, whatever. So what I do is, and I've been able to find the balance now, but in the beginning, I had to make some big sacrifices. And some of the sacrifices I had to make was I had to give up TV for 2 years. I just had to give it up, because by the time you put kids to bed and all that, and that was the only time I had to work on my business sometimes, you know, when you're playing with these kids all day and during their sleep times. So I'm a big morning ritual girl, and I love to teach people to start habitualizing your morning rituals. Like, I get up before the rest of the house. I have to get myself in that peak resourceful state. I have to have that quiet time. I have to be able to quiet the noise before the chaos starts for the day. So my day starts with positive affirmations, meditation, exercise, stretching. I might do a bit of rebounding, a bit of bouncing. And then I'm starting, you know, the school lunches and everything, getting the kids breakfast, everything like that. I try not to pick the phone up until I get back from dropping Summer to to school, which is about 9 o'clock. So my day sort of starts about 9 a.m. But I've taken all that time to do self-care and really do that positive self-talk. Like I tell myself, you're an incredible leader. You're a fantastic mom. Like, this is the best month of your life. Your team is on fire. You know, all these things, even if it's not happening, like I'm telling myself, I'm giving myself a little pep talk every morning. And then when I get back from dropping her off and, you know, I usually put Archer to bed, or he goes to daycare, and then I'll start my day. So I used to try and do new conversations and things like that. What I do now is follow-ups. Follow-ups I feel is so much more important than new conversations, because they've already had the exposure once or a couple of times. So since reversing my process in the last couple of weeks, like I've got to say, in 9 days, I culled 1,300 friends from Facebook. I just went from A to Z. I culled 1,300 friends, people who are not adding value to my life, people who are not serving me, people who I don't know how they got on there, people who I haven't had conversations with in a long time. I just got rid of them, you know, old school friends that I'm just like, they're just not picking the phone up to have connection with me. So I'm like, okay, gone. Now I've got 1,200 left, and I feel like those 1,200 more quality people in my life now. So don't be afraid to get rid of people. And it's not that we don't love those people or like those people. It's just that you're using Facebook as a tool. You're using it as a business tool, okay? So you got to start treating it like that. So once I did that, then I sent an individual message to those 1,200 people, except for a couple of you, because you're my juicy family. You know what's going on. You know, I don't have time to talk to you all the time. So then I sent a message to all those 1,200 people, and it was just like, hey mate, how you doing? It's been a while since we connected. How's the family? So FORM, form. F is family, O is occupation, R is recreation, M is motivation or dreams or whatever, goals. So I use form all the time when I'm connecting with people. So the first question is always, how's the family? Then it's, how's the job? You're still loving it? Like, what's going on? And then it's like, what are you doing for fun these days? What are you doing weekends? And then it's, what's your goals for the year? Like, what are you working towards? Any trips coming up? Like, what are your dreams? So if you can base your questions around that when you're connecting with people, like, this is all my day is. My day is just full of conversations, and it's amazing. I feel so enriched because I'm always looking for that opportunity to help somebody. Like, to find out, like, what's going on in this person's life. There's no fear, there's no doubt getting in the way, because I'm going into action. That's the only thing that will get you out of doubt, is to go into action. And if you're doing your follow-ups, like some people, I forgot to follow up with them like 9 months ago. So I've recently come back and going through these 1,200 people, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't get back to that person 9 months ago when they wanted more information about the products. So I've gone in, okay, I need to give you a big apology. I should have followed up 9 months ago. I'm so sorry. Life got in the way. And these people are going, that's okay. It's cool. Yep, send me a video. I'm ready to look at it now anyway. You know, so don't be afraid to apologize to people for bad customer care or bad follow-up systems or whatever. That's keeping it real and raw and showing that life does get in the way sometimes, and we're not all perfect. But you've got to go back, guys. You've got to go back and have those conversations and check in with people. Another thing I've been doing, I've been in the business nearly 6 years, and I've recently pulled up some old reports of team members who have left, and I've just started messaging them. Hey chick, how you going? Just how's life? Hey, just curious, have you ever thought about getting back on the Juice Plus products? How's the family? You know, so you ask them how they're going. It's like what they call a shit sandwich, I guess, but this is an inspirational sandwich. How's the family? The ham's in there. Like, have you thought about Juice Plus? And then the sandwich bit again. How's the family, or how's work? So you take the focus off it, but you just, hey, just curious. And customers are the same. Like, customers that maybe were only with me for 4 months when I first started, I've gone back to them as well. You know, hey, honey, how's life? How's the family? Hey, just curious, have you ever thought about getting back on Juice Plus? I know when you were taking it 5 years ago, you were loving it. You know, just thought I'd check back in. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't. You know, how's the job? Whatever. So don't be afraid to go back, even though they've cancelled or you've lost people or team have dropped off. What I'm finding, especially with team, is that they're going, yeah, actually, I have thought about coming back on. Yep, like hook me up, or give me till next month or wait till next payday or whatever. That, because when they were a team member, they obviously love the products. Okay. And then maybe they just felt like they failed in the business, so they decided to throw everything in. But it doesn't have to be like that. You can go back to them and say, hey, like, come back on. Like, you don't have to be in the team. Like, just get back on the products. So, yeah, so this is what my day looks like now. I'm digressing a bit. Focus. So, positive stuff in the morning, get yourself into state. Then I'm sending out follow-up messages. I do between 10 to 15 a day. I have a calendar, I'll just show you quickly. It's like a calendar like this. So it's like a grid, but it's actually got the dates and everything in it. So I can see the actual day that I spoke to people. And yeah, so it's about 10 to 15 people today that I'm following up with. I don't always get new conversations in there every day, but I'm not worried about that because the follow-ups are giving me enough follow-ups to keep me going. And then for the rest of the day, it's like put your Facebook post in there, jump on a couple of groups, add some value, make some connections, delete some people off your Facebook, add some people in if you can, and then just add more fun and lifestyle, you know, and be a passionate fun mum as well and showcase that. So yeah, that's basically what my day looks like. That's it.
That's awesome. Do you know what is amazing about that, Drummo? Is that the guys on the call tonight, like, this is not news. But what Kristine has that is absolutely key is that she has consistency. Like, she's doing it every single day. You guys haven't heard before. I mean, you guys have heard before that you need to be posting every day. You guys have heard before that you need to be making new connections, that you need to be asking and inviting, that you need to be following up, that you need to be asking people to come to events. Like, this is not news. But what Kristine has is persistence and consistency. And I think, you know, if they are two characteristics, Drummo, that you have seen in, they would be the characteristics, wouldn't they, that you have seen in the shining leaders?
Oh, absolutely. Consistency wins out every time. Like, this is not a business that you can put down for a couple of weeks and pick it up again, then put it down and pick it up. Like, even when I was home over the Christmas break, my dad, he's in the third and final stages of dementia, you know, and it's a really shit time. It's a shit disease and it's horrible for everybody. But I was still posting every day. Like, the whole world didn't need to know what was going on in the background. Some days, yeah, it was hard, and I might have hinted in one of my posts that, oh, you know, life's crazy or whatever. But it's consistency, guys, you know. And I remember when Tom's dad was terminally ill in the very beginning. I think I was an SDVF. I was going for SC. And I had to put the business down for a month because we were literally watching this man die. And I just could not be in an inspired state. But that's the other beauty of this business. Like, you can put it down for times like that and then come back to it. But when you come back, you have to be consistent. You have to come back with a vengeance. And you know what? I've seen enough people die from preventable diseases that I'm making sure that no one else close to me is going through that. And when my mum went through that breast cancer, like, I remember when I became a parent, I made that decision that my kids would not be seeing their mum go through that, like the pain that comes with that. And I think we all need to make that decision, guys. We need to be the example. We need to keep showing up. I feel like I get paid to live a healthy lifestyle. I feel like I get paid to inspire people to make positive changes to their health. It's a pretty freaking cool job. You know, we are in a very, very, very privileged position. Don't underestimate the power that you have in your hands right now. It's amazing. You know, you have the power to change and to save someone's life. You may never, ever know about it, but you're letting your small fears get in the way. You're letting that little voice in the back of your head that keeps creeping in saying, you can't do that. You're not worthy of that. You don't deserve that. You know, it might be an unsupportive partner that's belittling you. It might be family, you know, that's crushing your dreams and hopes. You know what? You need to stop being outwardly influenced and start getting more centered in alignment with your values. And when you do that, you got your blinkers on. It doesn't matter what anybody says. You're clear and focused on where you're going, and you'll become unstoppable. That's the number one thing. Like, when I stopped caring about what other people were thinking, saying, or doing, that's when my business started to boom. well, oh shit, I can't put this post up. What are people going to say or think about me? Oh, I better not have that conversation. I better not send that message to that person. You know, my sister-in-law, I sent her a message about the T30 once, and she thought I was having a crack at her for she had weight issues. And I'm like, are you serious? I just want to help you with your bloody health. You know? So, you know, it's people interpret things. It's their perceptions. And sometimes what the story that we're running in our head of what we think they're going to think, say, or do is totally the opposite of what they're actually thinking, you know. And most of the time they're not even thinking or saying or, you know, doing anything about it. They're worried about themselves. So the quicker that you can get out of your own way and stop that little voice, you know, it's kind of like that little mouse on that hamster wheel. That's what I feel like. Some people, that self-talk is just, oh my goodness, will you stop it? Like, we all are so unique and beautifully messy, and we've all got good traits and bad traits, and you just have to own it and just go out there and share from your heart. And if you do that, you can't go wrong, guys. Honestly, you haven't even scratched, you haven't even nicked your potential yet. You haven't even, you know, you guys you just need to stop worrying about what other people are thinking, saying, doing, and just be the example and show up and stay close to the fire and go to the conferences and go to the boot camps and go to the 90-day game plans and jump on the trainings and the online events. And if you do that, you don't feel isolated. The depression goes because you're part of the community. You feel more inspired. Like, you guys can feel that, right? Like, when you plug in, when you're connected with this community, like, don't you feel amazing? Don't you want to give that gift to other people? Stop being so selfish and holding it onto yourself. Go out there and share it with people. You know, we hear that from Wendy Campbell all the time. I remember her saying, you're being selfish if you're not sharing this business or these products with people. And I was like, oh my gosh, she is so right. I'm letting my fears stop me from going to help someone else with their health to prevent disease and illness. Like, that's crazy, guys. Start making it about other people and you can't go wrong, I guarantee.
Drummo, thank you. Now, I just want to touch on one last thing that you mentioned there, and that is going to the events. We have our Find Your Fire mini conference this Saturday. Now, there are 50 odd people on this call tonight, and I know that there are people on this call that have not purchased their ticket, and they all believe that for a reason. So can you just talk to the importance of getting along this weekend?
Oh, absolutely. Like, honestly, guys, they're non-negotiables. You have to turn up, because there might be, like, I've been in the business 6 years, and like, I still go to the Thursday night event every Thursday night. I hear the same speakers. I hear some of the same stories, but there'll be a different story, or someone will say something in a different way. And I'll be like, oh my goodness, it re-inspires. You fill your Juice Plus cup up again. So you've got to get your butts on the seats when these events are on. We're not just putting them on for willy-nilly. We're putting them on to help you guys, to help you stay close to the fire, to help you reignite that flame, to train you, to give you the verbiage, the terminology, the systems, the resources. You know what? The best thing about it as well is you make lifelong connections. You know, I've got some incredible sideline buddies that are on this call tonight that I know if I reach out and say, hey, can you jump on a call for me? They would bend over backwards to do it, and the same, vice versa. So you get to make the most incredible connections and relationships with people. It's the one thing I honestly believe that got me to NMD was plugging in as much as I did. I just became a student and plugged in, and I was like a sponge. And I have got what I call a gold book, and then I've got a ton of notebooks. So every time I fill up a notebook or I go to one of these things, I take out all the gold nuggets and they go in my gold book. So my gold book, when I'm flicking through, it's just full of gold. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. I'm going to train on this week. This is great. So do that, guys. Like, we don't expect you to implement absolutely everything, but you're going to be bombarded with lots of information. It's going to feel overwhelming sometimes, but take the bits that make sense to you and, you know, add your own flair and originality to it. But don't try and reinvent the wheel. And yeah, if you've got a little mini conference on this week, like Find Your Fire, bloody oath, go. I'd be taking my matchsticks ready to light those babies. You know, you've got to get your bums on the seats, because it's the people that have gone before you that are teaching you their mistakes. You know, they're teaching you what's worked for them. And it's not what works in this business, it's what duplicates. And that's where it comes down to. Like, if we all had to be like Tamara Hunter, can you imagine? Like, I wouldn't be an NMD if I had to be like Tamara and had to have her knowledge. It's not what she knows, but it's what she can duplicate. And that's why she's got 50 odd people on here tonight, because she's duplicating the importance of jumping on these events. And that's what you need to do. That's what you need to teach your team. And your team will do what you do. They won't do what you say. So if you want your team to turn up to the events, if you want your team to be at conference, if you want your team to plug into the online events, you need to do it. You need to be the best distributor in your team, and your team will follow. Microphone drop.
Oh, that's absolute gold. Yep. You know what, Drummo? My motto this year is outwork everybody. So guys, outwork me. Just outwork me. I expect to see you there. Now, to all 46 of you who are on the call tonight, I know you've all got somebody else's face in your mind. It might be someone that you've thought about for the business. It might be someone that you know needs this product for their community. Do what Simon Chan told you to do last night. Get off this call, get on that message, and message 3 people. Tell them what you have learned tonight, how excited you are from what you've seen tonight, and invite them along. Offer to buy them lunch. We're going out to Frio, guys. Take them out for lunch, but get them along to conference on the weekend. You know that it's going to absolutely change their perspective and potentially going to change their life. So do it. At the worst, they're going to say no. And what my mummy always taught me is what somebody else thinks of you is none of your business. There's my microphone drop.
Love it.